Hello everyone, I'm Candace with Skylight Coaching, and in this video I want to talk about a tool that I've used that really has helped me when I've been in conflict with someone. And we've all been in those situations where we have conflict or negativity between ourselves and somebody else, and talking about it just doesn't seem to make it any better. Something about what we say or how we say it seems to trigger the other person and vice versa, and it's unproductive. Or maybe we don't feel safe in saying it because it's not the right environment or the appropriate timing. And what I think is happening is essentially we have different levels of the self. There's our personality-based self, which is here in this physical environment and interacting with other people's personalities, which comes with its own lessons and opportunities for growth and adventure and expansion, because I think that that's ultimately what we're doing here. We choose to show up with certain people in our lifetime and in our experience. That's what it means to have soulmates and fellow soul travelers, and it could be a boss or a parent or a child or a best friend or just somebody that we're having conflict with, and it's not really working to talk it out with them. It just makes it worse. So what you can do is you can talk to the soul of a person. This is the real self. We have our personality-based self, where we have disputes and opinions and preferences and just attributes of our personality. That's not our real self. Our real self is what's known as the higher self, the God self, the larger non-physical aspects of who we are. That's the real us, that's always sinless, that's in love, and that's all it is it's perfect and connected to the divine at all times. And that's who we really are. So when we're having these conflicts with people, we can talk to their soul. We can, before we go to sleep at night, call them to mind. And what I think is important here is that we're honest, but we're kind about it. We can say, hey, you know, the way you've been treating me lately has really been hurting my feelings, or what you've been calling me lately, or what's going on between us is really upsetting to me, and I would really like to find some resolution. And you can invite them into your dreams so that you guys can work it out on the subconscious level. Or you can just call the person to mind whenever it would be easier and really tell them what's going on for you. And in this way, you don't have to worry that they're going to take what you say and use it against you. What I've found actually in some of the times that I've done this is that people have repeated what I have said in this meditative state where I'm talking to their soul almost verbatim. It's been a real trip. I had this experience with a guy at work actually where he was just such a dick to me. I didn't do anything to him. I was just myself, my kooky, believe in angels and energy self, and he was a little bit different. He was more of a fundamentalist, and for whatever reason he just did not like me and made that apparent to everyone in the office. And what really sucked about it was he was like really funny, really cool, really popular guy at work, so he would be kind of a jerk to me and be mean for no reason, and then other people would too. And I remember just wishing, can he just quit? He's probably not going to get fired, he's really good at his job, but can he just like disappear or quit or leave? And I would go home and I felt really bad. And of course it brought up all the stuff from childhood and getting picked on and stuff like that. And so it was really painful for me. And I decided to do this where I called him to mind before I went to sleep. And I think I did it maybe once or twice. And I'm like, hey, I really wish that we could find a way to get along. I think that you're really cool, and it would mean a lot to me if you would stop picking on me and stop singling me out and stop trying to ostracize me, and this really hurts my feelings. And had I brought that up at work, it just would have made it worse. It just would have made it so much worse. And what ended up happening actually with him is that almost within a week of doing this meditative exercise, maybe even sooner, I think it might have even been a couple of days, he just started being nice to me. And the whole dynamic of contention and frustration and almost apprehension of going into work completely changed. His whole demeanor towards me completely shifted, and he started being nice and funny out of nowhere. And I really do attribute it to doing this exercise. And it's funny because the day that he was leaving, he was like, bring it in for a hug, Whipple. And he gave me a hug, and I said, you know, it's so funny because I used to pray that you would just disappear. And I would have done anything for you to quit. And now I'm actually sad that you're leaving. And he said, you know, it's funny because you just started to grow on me, and I'm not really sure what happened. So things do really shift, and you start to see it in your tangible reality. Now, I'm not saying that this is a tool to completely avoid the necessary conversations, the face-to-face physical conversations that we need to have for our own development, for our own practice and ability in speaking up for ourselves. But it is a great tool when that doesn't work. And for whatever reason, we just can't reach them. And that happens a lot with parents and children. That happens a lot with husbands and wives. You say one thing, it triggers something in them, and you go around and around. But calling the person to mind and being very honest about how you feel, and really genuinely desiring peace and asking for it. And I suggested this actually to a person who's going through a really bitter divorce, where lawyers were involved and she just wants more money, and they were having this really ugly custody battle. And I remember saying to him, try this, talk to her spirit. Because at our higher selves, we all want to get along. We all have nothing but love for each other. And this might be a better way for you to reach her. And don't be surprised when her behavior kind of starts to change and it becomes smoother, and you guys can have a more amicable relationship. And he's so funny. He's a computer engineer. So he was like, well, what's the statistic on how this actually works? And I was like, why don't you just try it? It's free. It's a lot less expensive than getting together with your lawyers. It's free. Try it and see what happens. I know that this has really worked for me, and I would love to hear if this works for you in some sort of difficult conflict you're going through. This is especially helpful when you're going through a divorce, by the way, that you get really terrible with each other. But at a higher level, this is all happening for everybody's greatest good. And I would love to hear your experience in trying this and what resolutions you come to. For more skills and tools, you can reach me at skylightcoaching.com. I do a complimentary session where we can really make some progress very quickly, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks so much.